The Tusculum Pioneers traveled to Newberry, South Carolina this past weekend for a key South Atlantic Conference showdown. Tariq Jenkins scored 16 of his 20 in the second half. The Pioneers held off a potential game-tying layup to win 65-61 against the Newberry Wolves. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Staten, joined by Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. Last year, 2 overtime games against Newberry, and I honestly thought there in that final shot went up from Angelo Sales Jr. that, well, here we go again. We're going to have another one. But we start from the end because I felt like you guys really defended the last play of the game nicely.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I thought Brandon Mitchell, he had just gave up a foul play before, but then the play after to seal the game, he did a really good job of walling up. We actually been working on that to close games, and he did a really good job without fouling and staying vertical and getting the rebound.
All right, let's go back through the game where the Pioneers get down there in Eliezer Arena, where new coach Jason Taylor, new system, new style. And, we just kind of plodded along. We get out to a pretty decent start, and I think that was good to see if we hit a couple of shots. Shaking up the lineup just a little bit. You put a couple of freshmen in there that have been playing quite nicely.
Yeah, Dillon Smith had been shooting the ball exceptionally well, so we just thought we'd put some freshmen try him out, and Joshua Scott and Justin Mitchell. They did a really good job of responding as well, because not only did they score, but they rebounded and they played defense pretty well.
We got off to the good start once again, but Newberry kind of reeled it back in. T.J. Brown hit a couple of shots, kind of got them going, but I think the surprise was you did a really nice job defensively on Angelo Sales Jr. He didn't play a whole lot in that first half, but he never really got going either.
Yeah, he didn't, and we did a really good job. That was our focus in our scouting report, because you got to know where he is, because he's averaging a double-double, and we had the experience of him with him last year with 2 games, and he played very well against us. And we knew that we couldn't let him. Our biggest thing is not letting him get going early, because he makes that team go, and we did a really good job of it.
All right, but you hit some shots early. Justin Mitchell, as we talked about, how he had the first 5, for your team. And then, we say that they're a little bit behind defensively, and maybe they gave up a couple of outside shots. I don't understand that and see how that works. However, offensively, man, they were a big positive, especially in the first half.
That's what we needed. I mean, because at this point, we needed them to. Somebody's got to be ahead in offense, and we did a pretty good job of them holding on and being able to adjust defensively of what we was doing, and also produce on the offensive end.
All right, Caleb Hognet didn't get the start, but he comes off the bench and drains 2 3-pointers for you as well, and it seemed to kind of energize his offense.
Yeah, it made me look like a genius, I guess. That's what I was telling assistants, but it ain't me. Those guys, sometimes you just need something to watch the game first before you get in. And I think Caleb came. He was okay with it. We talked about it, him and Dillon, and he just needed to see, watch the game go by a little fast at first, and then once he got in, he was comfortable. He made some shots.
All right, and then Dillon Smith, again, we've kind of documented just a little bit of the struggle. I'm going to throw out a number, 0 for 28. That's kind of the way it has been for him for the 3-point territory. He had some really good looks, just not going. But I'm sitting there during the broadcast, and every time he touches, I'm like, Dillon, just put it up. Shooter's got to shoot, and I know this is just a funk for him right now.
It is a funk. I mean, he's I guess that's last 5 games he's 0 for 28. I guess last 6 games he's made 1. So it's really messing with him. But one thing about him, the other night before the game, he was in the gym at like 12:30, 1 o'clock a.m. trying to get shots up. And that's the thing. That's why I don't worry about him, and I tell him all the time. I was even telling him in the game, you get a wide open shot, don't even think about it. Now, don't take bad shots.
Yeah.
But I got to do a better job of getting him something going to the rim, getting him to the line so he can get some confidence. Because if I'm not mistaken, he was, 15 of 15 from the strike area for a while. He missed 1, and then he's back on the streak. So he's a very good free throw shooter. So normally shooters, if you could get him a good, easy bucket or get him some free throws, they'll get comfortable. It was
just a weird kind of first half, I think. A little first half of runs. It reminded me of the women's game, how they kind of got off. We didn't have the scoring drought, but you obviously get to that halftime. What type of adjustments did you think that you were going to have to make going down the stretch?
Well, we had some Coach Chartrand and Justice Chartrand, the assistant, done a really good job of the scout, and we had some of the signals that he had, and he had made some adjustments on some of the calls, so we had to make some adjustments, and we did that, and we had to make an adjustment on the defensive end, and then on offensive end, we had to make an adjustment in the way they was guarding our pick and roll, side pick and roll. So we started putting everything in the middle with Tariq with the ball in him, because he's the best at going down a hill, and it obviously paid off.
Well, you got up to the great start in the second half. I believe it was a 3-point play by Joshua Scott, and then I think Justin Mitchell also hit a shot, and Tariq Jenkins hit a shot. We built a 52-40 lead and then things kind of, I don't know if they just clamped down a little bit more defensively or we just started missing shots.
We missed a couple open shots. I think Justin Mitchell turned the ball over a couple of times, and then we just missed. I mean, that's when Dillon Smith was in the game. He missed a couple wide open shots to really stretch the game out. But as I told him, you got to withstand a run because they're at home, and that's it. Like I told you before, it's a college basketball. It's a game of run. You just got to withstand it.
And it's a different Newberry team, so those guys that were expected to do a lot of stuff stayed on the floor the entire game, and that was Angelo Sales Jr. He finished with 23 in the game. He had 22 of those in the second half, and he was just a beast. But he had a bunch of that at the free throw line as well. It seems as if they just continued. I felt like the game slowed to a snail's pace, especially in that second half, because we had so many trips to the free throw line.
Yeah, and to me it works to our favor because the way we, especially with our defense, we change things up quite often. And when it slows down, I mean, if it's us going to the line, it's always good. So with that being said, the second half we did a really good job of adjusting to the play calls. I mean, the way the ref was calling the game.
One of the guys that came in, you talked about getting more minutes for him, Dyquavis Wilkins. I felt like the momentum-changing play of the second half could have been the missed dunk opportunity leading to a dunk for Angelo Sales. I thought that was going to sway the entire momentum, but it was nice to see us weather the storm there.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. That kid is so athletic, and he's so good at getting to the rim and dunking. And they've seen it in practice. We've had that same scenario. So I thought the kids did a really good job of adjusting, staying poised, because after he dunked, we came down and scored. So we needed that, and it helped.
Not to mention that there was a lot of contact on that dunk attempt as well. Yeah. All right, but Tariq Jenkins in the second half, if you needed a bucket, he was the guy to go to.
Yes, and the biggest thing is I want to praise him for the free throw line because I can go back to last year. So it's unbelievable what a year makes because it's unbelievable difference what a year makes, because that kid last year struggled at the free throw line. Now he steps up. He wants to go there. He was 6 of 9 from the three, and he made some clutch free throws down the stretch. It
was somewhere around 57% last year. He's hovering right below 80%.
Yes.
So far on this year. 16 of his 20 scored in that second half, which leads us to really the last play, the inbound play. We actually were a bit unfortunate. We turned it over to give Newberry the opportunity.
Yes, I mean, it's one of those things. Coming out of timeout, you tell them, you prep them, and you tell them we have one timeout left. And I said, try not to catch the ball in the coffin corner. If you do, call a timeout. Well, a freshman, Justin Mitchell, never been in that situation before, don't want to make a mistake. He did the total opposite. He caught it, got trapped, turned the ball over, and they got the ball, and didn't call a timeout.
Yeah, 12 seconds to play, and they defended it nicely. Again, once Brandon Mitchell defending on Angelo Sales Jr. just forced him to miss everything pretty much in the paint. The Pioneers do get the win, 65-61. 2 overtime games last year against Newberry that yielded victories for the Pioneers. Nearly overtime this year, and the Pioneers get their 6th win of the year, their 3rd straight against Newberry, who had gone on a pretty good stretch there at home as well. They've won 7 of the last 8. And really, if you go back to last year prior to your first stand against Newberry, they'd won 7 straight at Eliezer. So you're sitting here at 6-3 and 2-1 in the league. You're looking up at both LMU and Mars Hill, who are 3-0 in the conference. And if I say, all right, Pioneers are 6-3, despite a lot of the players that we have on our starting 5 that came back from a year ago, we still have a lot of youth that we were expecting to do a lot of good things. Are you shocked? Are you not shocked? Are you excited to be 6-3?
Very excited, because I mean, at this juncture of the season, you never know what you're going to get, because you got to, it's our 2nd year here as a staff. You're bringing some guys back that was here from last year, and you got a mixture of some guys that, like Caleb Hognet, who was already here for the previous 3 or 4 years. So a lot of things has got to happen, especially you get a lot of young guys that you're trying to build a culture and change a culture, and you're hoping they come in and buy in, and that's what they've done. They bought into everything we've been telling, and they've done it, and they brought it to the court. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm shocked and I'm happy for, because these young guys have really, and the older guys have done a really good job of mentoring as well.
Yep. A Pioneer team that is 6-3, 2-1 in the league, behind Lincoln Memorial that knocked off Queens this past weekend as well, and Mars Hill 3-0 in the league after an overtime win against Coker. 2 games remaining this week, and then 2 conference games to wrap up the preseason schedule. Pre-Christmas, I guess you could say. And we'll talk about that when we come back after this. This is Pioneer Basketball with Pioneer coach J.T. Burton.
Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
Got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and yeah, love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
John?
Going Pioneers and we've got this week Lees McRae and Young Harris. If you're just joining us after the schedule change of the Young Harris game, we'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. Welcome back into Pioneer basketball with Pioneer coach JT Burton. All right, so the Pioneers at 6-3, still continuing to just a rebound. That was dominant. We didn't talk about that in the Newberry game, but 39 rebounds, but they ended up with around 25 in that contest. And again, 19 more offensive rebounds in the game for the leading team in the country in offensive rebounds. And now you'll take this on the road this week. We'll go to Lees McRae, and this is a team we've seen. So this is a team that's beaten us, but in Charlotte. Now we get to go to their place. A little bit of a change. This game was supposed to be at home, but graduation this week at Tusculum, you're so nice. You decided to take this so that we could go to Banner Elk again into the gym up there. But Lees McRae team that obviously has things going in the right way.
Oh, they're really good. I mean, he's done a very good job. We're talking about a guy that's turned the program around. That's what he's done. And they've had our number. I mean, we're 0-2 against them since I've been here, but that's okay. We just toss it up, see what happens, and we start getting ready for them today. And tomorrow because we got finals. And the last time we played them, they threw some things at us we hadn't seen, but hopefully this time we'll be ready and prepared, ready to go.
I guess that's the thing, after it's early, it's preseason stuff kind of thing, we're playing in these challenges and you don't really get a chance to scout and do a lot of stuff. So now that you've seen them, does it prepare you a little bit better as to what you think you may anticipate seeing?
A lot better, because now once you play a team and you play them again the second time, you kind of know the tendencies. I mean, it goes both ways.
Sure.
The way we have a unique style of defensive playing, it kind of works our favor because we get calls, and not a lot of us coaches don't work on zone offenses a lot.
Sure.
And it comes down to making shots. So hopefully we can get better. We got to guard the three-point line better, and hope we'll be okay.
All right, so the Pioneers then take their show on the road to Young Harris, Georgia. Seen this team as well. They came here. This game was originally scheduled December 31st, and thought about changing that, making it better. So a Saturday afternoon, late afternoon game, 4 o'clock tip on Saturday. You'll take on Young Harris. Extremely athletic team, quick team, fast team. Boy, they gave us all we wanted. And Dillon Smith had the game-winning three-pointer in that one.
Yeah, that game, they go 5 in, 5 out. And we had those guys from last year had already seen that style of play, and then now having to play them, and was fortunate enough to come with a win. When we played them here last time, it was big. And now going down there, that team, I think their record is 2-5, 2-6, and they are not a 2-5, 2-6 team by no means. It's just that some things they've been like us. We've had some ball bounce our ways fortunate, and they haven't. But when we go down there, it's going to be tough, and they're going to be home as well. All
right, and rebounding has to be key in that one. We had the size advantage there. Do you slow it down any when you have a size advantage against a team?
You always try to, but it don't always work that way. And sometimes you try to get teams to adapt to your height or what you do. And sometimes it don't always work that way.
And this team is, it's almost like you can't slow them. It's almost like you want to play faster because that's the way they are, if that's even possible. All right, a Pioneer team that's out to a 6-3 start. They were 2-1 in the league. 2 games this week. Lees McRae were at Banner Elk, North Carolina on Thursday. They will provide a video stream through their website, the school website. And Young Harris, Georgia at Young Harris College will have them Saturday. And again, coverage at 4 o'clock. You can listen on the Pioneer Sports Network. I'm pretty entertaining for the most part. 15 minutes before tip-off. You can join us for that. He's Pioneer coach JT Burton. For everyone behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network, I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.